scientific method cannot justify the scientific method. Therefore, it itself is a dogmatic religious presupposition.
They just go, they never.
Exactly right. Let's break this down. This ridiculous phrase and claim, and we'll notice how easy it is to debunk this. So let's.
Brzezinski model, the Technocrat model, is much more interested in the incremental, slow-kill, Fabian approach to bringing technocracy into being. So they're not going to send Homeland Security troops to round you up and put you in a FEMA camp. They'd much rather promote everybody being enmeshed in video games, the Disney gulag, the virtual reality gulag, all this kind of stuff is a much better FEMA camp in your home. They don't need the FEMA camp. It's too messy. It's a big ordeal. And so all the nonsense of all the patriot crap on the radio, that's not going to happen. They don't need to. The shadow global government is already here. And as we said, it's in the latter stages of the mopping up process to move it into the next phase, i.e. between two pages of the next page.
Yo, what's up?
Once you have atheism, there's not really...
Yo. Welcome. Everybody hear me? Can you hear me good now? Wow, look at that. 400 nerds on I need to just only stream on Saturdays and Sundays because the nerds pile in when it's the weekend. Nerds pile in when it's the weekend. Gonna be spitting more bars probably. Gotta wreck Tristan some more. Little AIDS needs to get wrecked some more. Did you see that stream where he was talking smack again like he won that rap battle? Yeah, dude. In your bald Bunyan dreams, because he changed his outfit. Dude, if I didn't wreck him, why did Tristan change his outfit to a flannel tucked in, looking like bald Bunyan, like a logger? He looked like a bald grunge fan, like a preppy grunge boy. Makes no sense. How could you be a preppy grunge boy? Well, Tristan was somehow. He tucked in his flannel while he was out there logging. I don't even know what. Never mind. I'm not going to make nasty jokes. I was about to make a nasty joke, but I'm not going to. Oh, man. I went and I read Klaus. What a name. Klaus Schwab. Schwab's push it. Schwab push it. But push it real good. Schwab push it. Rico Schwab. Rico Schwab. What a name. I think of Q-tips when I think of his name. Schwab. Rico Schwab. The Shaping of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Welcome to the next installment of the Global Elite book series. And by the way, we do have super chats still, and that is that Streamlabs link if you want to ask me, your expert at all things Global Elite Creepy. If you want to ask me questions, just use that little Streamlabs link there, you see. And it does what it's supposed to do. It pops up. We get the little light in his loafer zombie running, sprinting. And you send me your Bitcoins, and it goes into my Bit Fund, my Bitcoin hedge fund. And that's a joke, dummies. So we get so many people who, man, I get everyday comments that it's just, I feel sorry for some of y'all. I feel sorry for some of y'all. And those comments that people just don't get things. My bars fly 5 stories over the heads of all the normies. They don't understand the jokes. I make jokes on my streams. People don't understand the jokes. I make jokes. I made a bomb-ass joke on that other live stream. Nobody even knew what I was talking about. I'm just going to have to start. I'm going to record myself talking and then me commenting on myself. Because nobody gets my jokes but me. maybe I'm just in my own mental prison. Maybe reality is just my own mind projecting, right? We just watched Vanilla Sky with Coon Cruise, with Tom Coon. And my little Tom, I can't really do Tom, but I can go. I can do that little eighth of a Coon Cruise laugh that I do. Tom Cringe. Not Tom Cringe. Vanilla Sky was a little goofy after many years. I hadn't watched Vanilla Sky in a long time, and it was a little goofy, dude. I was like, what? Anyway, we got a whole analysis coming up that will be virtual. Remember in the 90s when everything, oh, dude, it's going to be so awesome when there's the net. We will surf the net all the time, and it'll be like in your house, and mom's on the net, dude. It'll be radical. And virtual worlds, we'll all have a little carnival thing that you get in and spin around, you know, like a lawnmower man, and it'll be a virtual world that you get in. You be a god of your own world, dude. And then when you watch the movies from the 90s of what they thought it would be, it was so dumb, dude. And it was not what they thought it would be. It was a damn unleashing Pandora's hellish dystopia box on the whole world. Pandora's box. Gross, dude. Pandora's box needs a chastity belt on it because it has unleashed nastiness. Garbage juice smoothies to attack the world. Yes, Jay's analysis decodes Jay's analysis. Thank you for that super chat. We begin. Look at that, 427 nerds. But we're gonna do the virtual worlds movies, right? We're not gonna do the Matrix. It's so played out, and I've talked about the Matrix. I don't know how many times. I do have a stream analyzing the Matrix, but we're gonna talk about Vanilla Sky. We're gonna talk about Hackers, 13th Floor, Johnny Mnemonic, some of those shitty ones, you know. And a couple more big ones. Now I forgot what they were. Existence. Yes, David Cronenberg with Jude Law. And there was one more virtual worlds movie. Lawnmower Man. Yes, dude, Lawnmower Man. Oh, God. Shout out to Isaac, who also did a Lawnmower Man recently. This was not planned. People think, oh, you ripping off people. No, Burma's planned to do Holy Mountain at the same time we planned to do Holy Mountain. Isaac did Lawnmower Man. I've not heard his analysis of Lawnmower Man. I'm sure it's good. So shout out to Isaac. We just had that podcast with Isaac and Sam Tripoli and the comedian Chrissy Mayer. I'll be doing a stream with her, I think, next week. I'm going to try to prod her and annoy her about women comedians. See if she can handle the heat. And then Isaac will be coming up. Isaac and I are going to do a stream on that crazy creeper. What's her name? Marjorie Cameron. We're going to do a stream on that. Do I look hotter with more lights? Do I look hotter as the blazing face of a beautiful angel? Or as a dark, brooding, acne-scarred teen? I don't know. Anyway. And we got another stream with Tristan. With Tristan coming up. We are going to do, what are we going to do? Tristan. What did we say? Gaslight. So now the whole of YouTube, you remember they used to talk about the psychopaths. We're all run by the psychopath. Remember that guy? What's his name? I met him at the conspiracy conference in Onion in London. I should have called it Onion because they just eat onions in London raw. They just an Onion, England, and it smells weird. The whole city smells like grandma's soap. It literally does. That's got to be some kind of weird mind control where they pump out of the street vents down there where the Freemasons are under the city, pumping out weird lotion smells to the whole city. It's not calming. I don't know what it is. Smells like grandma's soaps. But I met Thomas Sheridan, that guy. We're run by the psychopath. So he got everybody talking about psychopath for about 2 years on YouTube. And then everybody decided that it was narcissist. Remember that? That was in the next 2 years of narcissist on YouTube. And now everybody's talking about gaslighting. You're gaslighting me. And Tristan was playing those clips of those crazy vegans talking about, you're gaslighting. Not even knowing what that means. Like literally when somebody disagrees with them, they say, you're gaslighting me. That's disagreeing with you is not gaslighting, dummy. Gaslighting is when I steal your butt and I've got your butt in my hands and you say, did you take my butt? And I'll say, no one stole your butt. That's gaslighting. It's named after the George Cukor film from the 40s. It's the most non-Hitchcock movie. Really good movie. And it's because that rich dude marries Ingrid Bergman and wants her money. And he just starts playing all these little tricks and psyops. Hiding her rings. Hiding her candies. Making her think ghosts are everywhere. It's all a bunch of tricks. That's what gaslighting is. Doing things in your face that are completely contrary to the evidence right in front of your face. That's gaslighting. No, disagreeing with you and refuting you is not gaslighting, dummies. But Tristan was playing those clips of the vegans. You're gaslighting me. Tristan's a gaslighter. Gosslyter. Gaslighter. That's not gaslighting. And the other movie we picked was another Hitchcock that relates to mind control, which actually I think Jamie and I covered it a long time ago. But that's been so long that's kind of been forgotten. We're going to do Marnie. Tippi Hedren and Sean Connery. And that one relates to mind control as well. Good Hitchcock film. So that'll be coming up. I'm just talking about stuff's coming up. Did you notice nobody got my joke about Mike Tyson in that stream? That hurt my feelings. Because we were talking about Britney, and Sam Tripoli said, Britney, Mike Tyson's so good nowadays, start smoking weed. And I said, toxic. Britney's toxic. And nobody got it. But that's how it goes now. You crack jokes nowadays, it just sits there like a lump in the room, and everybody stares at it. There we go. What's that? Home Mad ET Error for $3. Thank you very much. Jinza Philosophy, $5. Do you think Black Hebrew Israelite ideology has a possibility of going mainstream? Mr. Cannon recently said some of their stuff about melanin makes people superior, and then your comment runs off the screen. I can't see the rest of it. Yeah, this is another cult. I mean, it's just a cult there's all these cults. Everybody loves to formulate cults and ideologies because cults are great ways to control people. And so all cults always contain a little bit of truth. So just like limited hangouts, right? They contain a little bit of truth. As we'll see with Klaus's book will contain a little bit of truth. And we saw that actually in a lot of the global elite books. They will have aspects of truth. And that's how they hook people, right? You couldn't hook people on this stuff if there wasn't some truth to it, right? So he'll talk about, conspiracies, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, buy into my grand narrative conspiracy. Now, just because it's a grand narrative doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's wrong for factual reasons, not just because everybody tells a grand narrative. That's what we saw in the Jim Bob stream. But if you talk about conspiracy stuff that then turns people over into some weird cult niche, that's like total, fake fed territory, I think. That's my suspicion. And we did a stream on COINTEL a long time ago. We done two good ones on COINTEL. Me and Hesher, and I don't forget who else on there. Sean Helton, I think. That was a good stream. We should find that stream. That's good. Boiler Room that we did on COINTEL, because I know that's old, but that's the model that all these same things use. It's just the same patterns kind of repeated. And then I did one a long time ago on NGOs and think tanks, right? Re-engineering society. I did that about 4 years ago. Both of those streams are just packed with, factual information. Those are really good to illustrate. Once you see that pattern of how it's done with the template, the cult template, then you notice it every time. It's like, oh, come on, that dude's a fed. Oh, come on, that's fake. Come on, give me a break, dude. Right? So it's the same pattern. It's always the same. And absolutely, almost 500 nerds? Oh, I'm getting nervous now. We've never seen so many nerds in one place just to hear me talk smack. Anyway, let's get to Shape into the Future. I've talked enough smack actually right now. Everybody's like, when are you gonna give me the facts, dude? And by the way, we have always been here doing goofy stuff. I don't know where these people, I guess they're new. If you're new here, I do my thing, bro. I do my thing. That means I act silly because I'm actually a silly person. Who's that? We got who was that? GIF looked like a cross between Michael Scott and Obama. Justice111 donated $5. It's pretty good, Obama, right? But we have always been here making jokes. The first videos I uploaded here were jokes back in 2006, 7, I don't know. And then people are like, what is this dude joking around? What's this dude joking? Because guess what? People will listen to you if you joke around. You just sit here and read your facts. People go to sleep, dude. Boring. But if I act like a clown and a fool and a dick, people will pay attention. That's why we got 500 nerds here right now. And I didn't even plan this until today. I just woke up and said, I'm going to go talk to 500 nerds today. At least, right? I sound like Nick Cage sometimes. Yes, I do my thing. And there's always somebody not getting the jokes. Somebody today said, I'm unsubbing from your channel because you have a picture of a girl with googly eyes. That's Britney Spears, dummy. You don't know who Britney Spears is? A girl with googly eyes? Free Britney, bro. Now this book, remember Davos? Okay, so Davos, are we almost to, we're almost to probably like 50 now. 50 books of the elite? What other channel has given you this info, bro? How many more channels are giving you this hot off the grill info? Not many. When this is about number 50, probably 48, 9, maybe 50. And Klaus is the chairman, executive chairman, and the founder of World Economic Forum. And this is just one of the many elite confabs. Davos, right? There's many of these. This is just one of them. But Klaus put everything into this book and made it really easy for us because, yes, we've been through dozens and dozens and dozens. But one of the advantages, and this is, by the way, probably the most recent. Let me look at the global shelf over there. Brzezinski? No, we did one guy about CIA anthropology. And Alex Abea's book, that's older. That's like 2000s though. So this is actually the most recent global elite book. Interesting. Because most of them are old, but because they planned this stuff, a long time ago. This is a couple years ago. Now keep in mind, a couple years ago, right? So none of what we see today had happened yet. Because 2 years ago is prior to today, if you didn't. So today is right now. And 2 years ago is before right now. You guys get that? I know some of y'all out there a little slow on the uptake. My jokes don't land. So maybe I should I'll have a footnote for every sentence that I have. And then we'll put a footnote to this footnote. A footnote is an explanation to the reference, you see. A reference is what you're referring to. So I just explain everything that I say for some of y'all slower people. Some of y'all slow out there. Anyway, this book has the endorsement of the CEO of Microsoft. I don't know if this is still the CEO. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. And Satya says in the intro, we gotta be global, and we gotta be robotic, and we got to have fair technology, and we are all responsible. There's your immediate buzzwords. Kind of gives the whole thing away pretty quickly, right? We know where this is going, right? We got to be. I mean, who does? Come on, we got to be fair. And by the way, Klaus will repeat this many times. This was also Gil Bates. Remember, he was saying this in some of his recent interviews. Oh, we need to have a more fair economy and technology. It's more fair. Color me skeptical, dog. But I don't believe that Gil really wants to be fair. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe that. 519? Wow, got a lot of bored people on a Saturday. 524. Look at that. Welcome everybody. Jay Dyer from Jay's Analysis. You can support the show with the replacement for Super Chats, which is Streamlabs right there. You can send me your questions there, and I will get to them eventually. Now, so what does Klaus say? Well, he says, let's start this book off right. We got revolutions in the past. We got 1, 2, 3 revolutions. And now we got the fourth that is coming now. We are in the fourth. The fourth revolution, you got it, is the final revolution. Remember, we've talked about this in many, many talks. We did Huxley's, we did Bertrand Russell, H.G. Wells. They all talk about final revolution, especially Huxley's. The final revolution is the fourth, this one. And it's got little gold Cheerios. I don't know what the Cheerios mean. Are they bolts? I don't know what that is. Somebody said it looked like Cheerios, and I said, well, I'll be damned, it's golden Cheerios. I don't know what those bolts are, but they represent the robotic era, right? We're entering into Skynet. That's the point here. That's the fourth revolution, Skynet. That's the summation here. Let's see what the first few revolutions were. The first revolution, he says, was in Onion, the city of Onion, UK, by the way. Not London. I called it Onion earlier. The city of Onion, they were the first to mechanize, right? You had this machinization, the machines with industry. This is where you get the... who were those weirdos called? The guys that wanted to smash all the textile machines. The original warriors against machines. They were like the proto sort of communists. What were they called? My stupid professor was like the world authority on these guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. What's that guy? What's that called? The blokes out in the country of England that didn't like the metal machines, right? The damn peasant blokes that was like, give me a damn spear and I'm going to take out these here machines with me spear and give it a globby wobble, right? Because they always use these terms. Luddites, thank you. Yes, the Luddites. The Luddites was the blokes who was like, they was John Connor, they was John O'Connor. Fighting the machines with the spears. Give me a little globby wobble. That's a wrench, by the way, in British talk, if you didn't know, in Onion speak. Give me a little globby wobble, and a wobble is globby wobble. Yes, Luddites, thank you. 543. What's up? We're going to set a record for me alone today. 540. Glibble the globby wobbles. Yes, exactly. Luddites, thank you. Saboteurs. And so this actually comes up here. I mean, he doesn't mention the Luddites, but that's the period of the Luddites. And they were actually onto a little bit, but they drank too much of that swill. They were drinking too much peasant swill. They were too enmeshed in the wench maids The winch maids had casted too much of a winch maid spell upon the peasants for the peasant revolt against the machines. So we had in the 18th, that was first. Then 1810 to 1930, he says, is the second revolution. This is radio, TV, phones, fertilizer. This is like Bertrand Russell always conclude fertilizer in there because I guess that helped food production or whatever. And then the third revolution is, what's the third? I don't know what the third is. He kind of blends them together, so I'm kind of confused here. But long story short, he basically says from 1750 to 2017, the changes in the world were just crazy exponential, basically. Well, yeah. Duh, who doesn't know that? But he says, so what we got to do now is look at the changes that will come between 2020 to 2050. What do I always tell you? I always tell you that they talk about the next decades, right? 2030, 2050. That's how that stuff is actuaried out. He says the plan is, according to the World Economic Forum, by 2050, we got to make sure everything is fairly distributed. Really? Yeah. He says the fourth revolution has to be managed. You see, these previous ones, they weren't really managed. They kind of had some level of management, maybe. Different power blocks, cartels, this kind of stuff. He says, but the next one really has got to be commandeered. I always tell you, what do I say? They're always saying, we got to commandeer, control emerging tech, emerging ideas, inventions, movements, ideologies. Commandeer them. Make sure you grab them, grasp them. He says we got to have no more cars. Stop driving. That's the first thing. Cars have got to go. In order to move into reset, austerity, that's where all this is going, obviously. You can't have you driving around. Right? You can't be going out to make out corner, right? And smooching. You can't have that independence. You got to be at home in your pod, bro. And he says, look, governments are not enough, right? If we're going to actually do this, I'm glowing here. What's up? Dang. Sun is bright, dog. Governments are not enough. They don't do much. So we got to have a big entity. Now, wait a minute. If governments are not enough, then another entity that's another government, how's that going to be enough? Well, because that's what they're going to control, you see. So it's bait and switch type of thing. And he says, we've given more and more freedoms. It's time to contract. Rein that in. Bring that in. Too much freedom. Rein it in. And he says, we've got to focus on systems holistically and not individual pieces of technology. That's interesting because that's not what I expected old Klaus to say. I figured he would have said, just control everything. And no, but he's saying, let's shift our focus, elites, to not the piecemeal stuff, right? But to the big picture and entire systems and a systems analysis approach. Now, you've heard me talk about this for many, many years because I study systems analysis in the sense of worldviews, presuppositions, Weltanschauungskrieg, worldview warfare. And so, this whole transcendental argument is based on systems approach, right? So it was odd to see Klaus saying, okay, let's shed basically that Enlightenment baggage that everything is just piecemeal and compartmentalized. He says, let's look at big entire systems. That's going to make sense when we actually look later on at some of the other things that people found over at the World Economic Forum website, where they are actually planning an entire biosphere, life sphere, social sphere system to come in that's brand new, you see. That's why he's saying move away from the old Enlightenment idea and these Industrial Revolution time period ideas of the particular, time to move to a systems approach now. because we've successfully broken everything down with that older empirical model. Now we can move into the holistic approach. And how many other of the elites books did we see say the exact same thing? Friedrich Capra said that, right? He said, it's time to move away from logical empirical analysis. We're done with that. We've done enough with that. Now we need to move into, everybody being basically a manifestation of the goddess. That's what he says, literally. All of life, he says, Klaus now, is going to change. And we got to make sure that everything's going to be fairly redistributed. By who, by the way? Who decides what's the fair redistribution? Well, of course, Klaus and his bros do at the World Economic Forum. They're going to make sure that it's fair. I promise, dude. I promise, man. Don't worry. It's going to be fair. Just chill, dude. Just chill. So what are the 4 things where action needs to be had, according to Klaus? Systems analysis, arranging and re-engineering entire systems, empowerment, whatever that means. Come on now. Values and intentional designs of systems. Design and values, he's saying basically, we're not going to let things run default. He says we're going to, by design, step in and steer the future. Duh. What have I said? Now remember, when the elite write these books, it's, oh yes, well of course, that's sophisticated and that's profound. When anyone else talks about it, oh, you're a crank, dude. Well, you're a quack. You're a kook, dude. You're a quack. When I just sit here and read you the books that they write, yeah, I'm a quack. Yeah. And he says values. He says, guess what? It's time to return to values. No, wait a minute. I thought we were in enlightenment neutrality. I thought we lived in a world of just neutral brute facts. That's the enlightenment materialist worldview, right? No. You see, now that that's been broken down, time to reintroduce holistic systems, reintroduce values. Did you hear that? Values. This book, he says, is written for the leaders of the future. And he says disruptive technologies are important. We got to control those. But he says really what we got to worry about is bringing into reality the value systems that go along with the tech systems that we want to steer the future into. So there you go. I mean, right away in the first chapter, how many times have I told you that there's no neutrality? Right? Greg Bonson told us there's no neutrality. Greg Bonson was actually right. There is no neutrality. There's no such thing as a neutral system, because contained within any system is the assumption that that system is in some way rational or some way coherent, and thus it contains some notion of value, namely that the system is truth value, that it should be followed or consistent. Those are ethics. Those are values. Value judgments. And he says we got to do this because chips and DNA are the future. How are we going to put Lays and Bugles inside of people? Yes, that's my code. Right? How are we going to put Lays and Bugles and Doritos in people if they don't have the value system that's a good thing to do? And he literally starts talking about Gattaca level stuff, right? Jude Law again, Gattaca. He is the Pope in that show, right? Gattaca with Uma Thurman and Jude Law and Ethan Hawke. He's like, just change everybody's values to where they love the chips, right? But we love our Doritos. Give me my Dorito put that Dorito in my arm, dude. Turn me into Chester Cheetah. Turn me into Chester Cheeto. He says, why? Because this is the robot takeover. Yes. 24, 25. Bro, we're at the robot takeover. We're at Skynet right now. Right. The drunk beer-swelling peasant blokes did not defeat Skynet. John O'Connor did not beat Skynet. Skynet's here now. It came. Arnold, where were you at, dude? You were feeding your mules carrots and shit. You're supposed to be out here punching Klaus and taking down Skynet, dude. Where was you at? That's a joke, by the way, before somebody tries to attack me over that. No, but Arnold says he's a vegan now, right? I thought Arnold was going to save us from Skynet. We were duped. He's just sitting in his hot tub. Smoking the stogies, right, in his hot tub. Riding up mountains on his tricycle. Literally, that's what he said in that video. I just ride the tricycle up the mountain. Smoke the stogies. It's not even possible. But I did it anyway. Anyway, so Klaus was talking about the robot takeover and the gig economy, which is the replacement for a real economy. And he says that's going to lead to massive unemployment. And he says that this massive unemployment and rise of the machines, Skynet stuff, he says, is going to lead to mass inequality. Remember, he was saying this was all by design. And he says once we've got the mass inequality, dude, then everybody's going to fall for redistribution. Then they're all going to they're going to scream. They're going to squeal. Oh, give me my UBI. Oh, squealing for that UBI. Squeal for that UBI. Give me my UBI. Oh. The mob will squeal for that UBI once we have wrecked the economy. And then we can redistribute the wealth. That's what he said. Now, all the people on this out here in the internet sphere, moms on the net, think that we're fighting Marxists because that woman at BLM said she's a Marxist. That's just at the street level, dude. Again, here's the real quote Marxist. He's not even a Marxist. This is the real fascism right here. Because he says we're gonna bring in an entire system based on the austerity reset model. Then we're gonna redistribute all the wealth. And it doesn't stop there, bro. It doesn't stop there. It's all of it. It's all of it that you heard me talk about in this whole series. It's all in Klaus's book. Now, there was a Guardian article from about 2000, I don't know, it was about 10 years ago. And it was the one from the Ministry of Defense white paper that predicts the future in the next 10, 20 years. Flash mobs, the rise of Marxism. It does mention Marxism. I'm not saying there's no such thing as Marxism. I'm just saying that the people on the street that think they're Marxists, do you really think that they are running this? No, of course not. Who actually thinks that? Well, some naive people out here commenting on the internet think that. But Klaus says that they are going to redistribute. Who? The technocrats. They're going to have a giant redistribution system based around all the dystopia tech nightmare stuff that you think, that you've heard me talk about, that's in all the movies. He says, I can't read my writing. He says, we got to learn to be true global citizens. Once we are truly global citizens, we can realize that the future economy will be green and clean and will be democratized because of bioweapons. That's a little odd, but whatever. And then he says, we want a pro-human future. He says, but we're going to give that value system. Now, see, that sounds good. Oh, see, he's pro-human. Yeah, but then he goes on to say, once we massively depop, he says that's, for him, pro-human equals translation, the elite. That's pro-human, dummy. Imagine actually believing this. Imagine being that naive to believe that, oh, yeah, he's pro-human. He's got Cheerios on his book. No more neutrality admitted by one of the elite. He says none of these areas are neutral. Oh, wait a minute. I thought for the last 400 years of enlightenment, there's scientific neutrality, philosophic, academic neutrality. Oh, ha ha ha. We duped you. There's not actually neutrality. That was a lie. That was a lie to make people think there was neutrality. And now we will introduce the new system that is not theory, that is not value neutral, that is theory laden. Haha, it was always theory laden. We tricked you. What did I tell you the whole time? What have I been saying over and over and over? There's no neutral systems. They are all value laden, theory laden. You can support with super chats. Ask me questions if you want. Boom, right there in that link. All right, so Klaus goes on. He says, "No, suddenly we ought to be anti-nuclear." I don't really have any opinion on nuke. I don't know how. I'm talking about nuclear energy here. I would assume that if suddenly all the elites are against it, that probably was good and was easy. But I don't know. I don't really have any opinion on it. But I think it's odd that Klaus and all his buddies are like, okay, now it's time to, we're not nuclear anymore, and we don't like gas and coal. All those are evil. That's all like, part of the green scam. He says the future will be green energy. We don't even know what that is, but green energy is, the circular economy, recycling, sharing, the sharing economy, you don't own anything, you roam around in a van with other Zoomers and millennials, that kind of a thing. That's the future, he says. Tiny living in the sea. Tiny living. How come all of the proponents don't tiny live? They all have yachts, dude. They have giant yachts. Tiny living and they have giant yachts. Palaces, castles, but tiny living. Imagine being this dumb. I wouldn't mind having a tiny boat. That would be fun. Live on like a tiny yacht. That'd be more fun than riding around in a tiny Airstream van like the Zoomers do. A little tiny yacht that you live in, like the size of a closet, but it's super fancy. It's got a gold toilet like Don Trump. And it's just a little closet bathroom yacht, a tiny yacht. That would be weird. Everything in it's tiny. So you feel like a giant in there. You're like hunched over. Anyway. AI is the future. The new World Economic Forum ideology, he says, is to put forth a social covenant. Covenant. That's an odd biblical word to use. He says the new social covenant, he says, will reflect the values of a new world. So notice this. Again, you've been told there's no values. Values are completely made up. There's no such thing. It's everything is just purely neutral. Oh, by the way, it's not anymore. Let us give you values. What are the values? I'll make up a World Economic Forum 10 Commandments. I'm not kidding. What does that mean? The World Economic Forum's new 10 Commandments are everything's collectivized. Except for Klaus and Leo Caprio and everybody else that lives in palaces and yachts. Stewardship of the environment. You don't actually own anything. It's loaned to you by the elite, apparently. Right? It's like your car actually is the property of Klaus Schwab, you see. That's what he's saying here. And if you're good, you can maybe use it for a little while. Everything you have, you're renting from him, basically, is what he's saying. He says, here's some of the values. Now, he lists literally probably about 10 of them, but here's some of the values. He says the global New World Order technocrat values are education. I wonder why that's so important. Controlling the ethics of investors. I didn't expect that one, but I guess it does make sense. He says investing has to be done ethically now. Oh, everything is ethical. Now, remember here. So, ever since, atheism, enlightenment, materialism, Darwinism, all you've been told forever since then, is that there's no such thing as objective morals or ethics or truth. It's all relative, dude. There's no objective right and wrong. It's whatever you want, dude. Now, suddenly, all of economics and the corporate sphere is supposed to be ethical. What? Dude, why am I supposed to be ethical if there's no ethics? It's all subjective. What does that even mean? You got to be ethical. What? Now, I can give you a reason as to why you should be ethical, because I have a worldview that makes sense for ethics. But these people don't believe in a worldview. I mean, it's just purely arbitrary, right? It's whatever they say. And that's literally what, yes, it's time to reintroduce the ethics, bro. Organized cultures, organized schooling, brainwashing, controlling our decision making. It's everything, right? So, and then this is dumb. He comes up with a code of ethics for young scientists. So now, because of Neil Tyson deGrasse, Bill Nye, or whatever, now the new rock star is a quote scientist, but that's not really who the rock star is. It's a pop scientist who believes in a bunch of nonsense. That's the new rock star. They want to make the scientist the new rock star, but of course these people aren't really scientists. It's like a facade, right? They're propagandists. They're all part of like a cadre of so-called skeptics like Michael Shermer and all these people, and it's a bunch of it's literally like disinformation. It's more like a counterintelligence, psychological warfare type of thing is actually what they do. But he says, I'm going to give you a code of ethics for young scientists. Oh my gosh. I mean, anybody who has, a little bit of philosophical knowledge could, just see how totally ad hoc and transparent all of this is. I mean, it's literally based on absolutely nothing. It's all just ad hoc, completely out of thin air. And he says that, well, we got to do this because a new society is emerging and everything will be redone and everything will be reorganized. Don't you understand that I'm telling you what they say they're going to do? I'm telling you the future, dude. Let's do a couple of these super chats. Let's see where we at here. Justice. Just ice, baby. He says $5. Thank you for a global elite series. Off topic, what are your thoughts on Husserl? Logical investigations is good. He shows that scientism is based on logic. Science is based on logic, and a lot of what we see as scientism. But Husserl has a good presuppositional critique of psychologism, materialism, that kind of stuff. But he also still thought he could find some kind of mystical neutrality with bracketing, and it doesn't work. So there's some good insights and critiques in Husserl, but doesn't really go anywhere. Mark says for $5, mark them up, boys. He says, Jay, assuming that the 2020 sequence is got your city on lockdown, a civil disturbance, and then if there's not an election, could we have tracking, stabs? What's up? Welcome. Thank you for that super chat. I lost my place. I don't know timelines, man. I don't know. Who could have predicted where we're at now? You could predict the big picture, but unless you're some kind of insider, you're not going to be able to predict what's going to happen in a month. I really don't know, man. Sorry. I wish I could give you a better layout, but I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't have inside information. I just read the books of the elite. That's it. And it's always big picture stuff. They don't tell you what's coming, in a month. Now, sometimes they'll tell you what's coming in a month in a weird, cryptic way in, fiction or whatever. Sometimes. But Orthodox 83, $5. I'm a big fan. Thank you. Leading up to World War III, will technocrats be wiped out? I don't know. Or will there mostly be an escape of? And I can't read these long super chats because they go off the screen. I don't know what the rest of it says. Follow up questions, something. I don't know, y'all. I mean, I'm kind of still new to Streamlabs, so you're gonna have to keep the questions maybe like one line because I can't see the rest of that. But I don't know, dude. It's just like that last guy, Markham. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see all kinds of crazy stuff happening. There's going to be probably wars will break out, regional wars. I don't know, dude. But, everybody asks that question. Like, what's going to happen in the next month? What's going to happen in 2 months? I don't know, man. Andrej for $5 says, is Karunka fake? Are humans capable? Well, I mean, the military has studied biowarfare for a long time. So, yeah, I would imagine that it is possible to engineer things. I don't know to what degree things are fake or engineered. I don't know. Do you have talks on this? Not really. I mean, who really knows that anyway? Unless you're like involved in it or something. Kush, $10. Are there any jobs in America that are worth pursuing that aren't heavily affected by PC, COOF, and AI? 007 KGB. I don't know. I feel like I'm not much of a help for all this. These are tough questions. I mean, you guys are. I mean, they're good questions, but they're questions I can't answer. I don't know what the answers are to these issues. I've not been in the normal job sphere for 5 years. I mean, I've been doing this full time for 4 or 5 years. So I don't know what the corporate world is like. I hear it sucks. I mean, I had a bitchy manager. And she sucked. She was awful. So there's probably a lot of still bitchy managers running around. That would be my guess. And there's probably still HR departments, and they probably don't like you. So probably not. But maybe you could go find a golf course where they like you. You could go be like Bill Murray in Caddyshack or whatever. Maybe the golf companies are still fun. Nano Nerd, $10. The book points to outer space as the goal for all of this new tech. As Christian, do we reconcile space colonization? I don't even pay attention to that stuff, dude. Space is, again, right? It's not really. That's just a joke, dummies. I don't think we're going to colonize space. And I don't really waste any time trying to reconcile that to the, second coming or end times. Or, personally, I think that weaponizing space, I don't actually think it's about going to Mars and all this kind of jibber jabber. I think it's just about controlling like the upper atmosphere for ICBMs and for telecommunications and for surveillance. That's what I think space is really about. And I think it was always about that. I think all of NASA was just like this thing that was as a frontispiece for a secret space program that was just about controlling the upper atmosphere, surveillance, telecommunications, Skynet. That's all I think it's for. That's my view. But I don't have any. Everybody loves the really speculative stuff, right? I was listening to a podcast, and they were doing all the speculations, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying you can't speculate. Good grief, man! This light makes my eye look like I'm a damn corpse. I'm not actually a corpse. I'm a beautiful man. I'm not a glowing corpse. I promise, guys. But this light is so weird today. Everybody loves this really speculative. I don't know about these really speculative things. I don't know. What I do know is what they say is coming and what I can document. I'm not saying you're bad. I appreciate the super chats and I appreciate speculation, and even that high octane speculation is fun, but I really don't know. You guys asked like 5 questions I do not know the answer to. So then he moves on. Let's see, where's Klaus go next? Klaus says, the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, he says, is a model. He says maybe we could update that. Yeah, right, dude. The Declaration of Human Rights, by the way, that's actually from old Masonic stuff. French Revolution, remember that? They came up with the Declaration of Human Rights, and it's under this giant all-seeing eye because it's a Masonic thing. I'm not saying that rights are bad, but it's just like everything else that we've been talking about. There's no prima facie brute fact that tells you what rights are. Rights, quote-unquote rights, only make sense within a system, within a worldview. And by the way, Klaus seems to know that. Right? I mean, how are you going to just know what a right is without like the whole, system that goes along with it? So the question is then, what's the right system? What's the most coherent system? All right, let's see. He says global democracy and rights demand global fairness and redistribution of wealth, and we need to fix world hunger. Oh, so now world hunger matters suddenly, right? It doesn't matter right now, apparently. But according to Klaus, well, these are just like virtue signal tools that you pull out. They're cards you play at the right time, like the Illuminati card game. Exactly. Oh, let's play this card. Oh, this one, right? Virtue signal, right? Cult, right? Alien invasion. Play the cards at the right time. And he says, but I didn't know we had a global democracy. Who decided this, by the way? World War II? United Nations decided it's a global democracy? I mean, I'm saying that, yes, World War II initiated a kind of global democracy, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't make sense because democracy is everybody makes the decision, but did everybody make a decision that they wanted a democracy? What if they wanted a global Kwisatz Haderach? What if they wanted a global Paul Muad'Dib? What if they wanted a global republic? What if they wanted a global, what's another form of government? Anarchy. What if they wanted a global, I don't know, I'm out of the forms of government. There's not that many. Monarchy. I guess Kwisatz Haderach is kind of like a global monarchy of sorts. But I didn't get to vote for Paul Muad'Dib. What if I wanted to vote for Paul Muad'Dib? Right? I didn't get to vote for that. But democracy is but you've just been told. So the elite have told you that you have this. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's your right to freely have all the shit that I mandate you have. That's basically what we're saying here. Water and food, he says, there's water shortages and food shortages, so therefore we need to redistribute all of the wealth. Dude, what a scam. Then he talks about the social gospel, and we need to replace religious thought and all this with more of the social gospel stuff. And then it gets a little more interesting. He moves into, we got a lot of climate change, a lot of heat everywhere. And so we got to reallocate wealth because of all the heat. Yes, that's what he says. And then he says we got blockchain and land rights can be, once we get everybody on some kind of blockchain. By the way, the technologies in themselves are not evil. I'm not saying cryptocurrency is evil. But he's saying that we need to use these emerging technologies, these new technologies, turn them over into a thing where we can have everything on a single system, he says. And then he says we can reallocate all the land in the world. That's literally what he says. He says then we can have a carbon credit trading system market for the whole world, monitored by nanobot satellites connected to the blockchain. to the globalist blockchain, he's saying. Yes, you heard me right. He says, then we can get rid of fossil fuels. There's no such thing as fossil fuels, dummy, because oil is not dinosaur juice. How many times do we have to say this? The smartest people in the world? Really? Fossil fuel? You think oil is squished up dinosaurs, dude? Think about that for about a minute. Think about how dumb that is. And yet every one of these supposed scientific elite, global elite, are still talking about dinosaur juice. Come on, dude. It's a giant house of cards once you see through it. And then he says, guess what? Universal basic income. He says we are already testing out the universal basic income in multiple countries. He says UBI is at present seen as a radical idea, but from Finland to Kenya to California to India and beyond, this is in 2018, you see. He says we're already testing out UBI. Where are all the apologies for all the times that I was right about all this stuff and people just went apeshit on me? I haven't had many apologies. I can remember all the asshats that went apeshit, but not many apologies. He says we got to have more women in math and science. He says emerging tech must transform the social dynamics to shape the future. And I'm not joking. I'm not kidding that he says this. He says already our AI has to be reprogrammed because the AI is racist. I'm not joking. He says that on page 62 and 63. And yes, he says inversion. We got to start inverting things to more so that we can get equalization. So that's the logic here, is that things are not fair because of things unequally distributed in life across everything, all money, whatever, IQ, right? This is what he says. It's all distributed in a weird way and it's unfair. So when you invert things, it's supposed to be like a seesaw. Oh, it's going to make things more fair. Oh, really? Really? Dude, come on. Who is so stupid as to believe that this giant conglomeration of con artists really wants to make the world a more fair place? Well, a lot of people are that dumb. A lot of people are that dumb. But are you noticing the pattern here of like how it's all connected and it's all linked in the sense of the different areas of life that he says are going to be reorganized and re-engineered? Next is quantum computers. Now, I'm a little iffy on, I'm not saying that I know for sure there are or are not. I don't know. And he says that they're kind of theoretical, right? IBM supposedly has the proto version, and then there's D-Wave. I mean, I view this like cloning. I don't know. Maybe. I'll throw this over in the maybe bin. Like the 10 to 20, 30% range of maybe true, probably bullshit. I don't know. Because there's a lot of fakery in science. People don't know this, but there's a lot of propaganda and fakery. He says the idea was just theorized 30 years ago by Feynman, right? Richard Feynman. It's a conjecture. He says, so do we really even have this yet? Or is this just like science fiction? Maybe one day we'll have that, right? If there is, again, I don't, doesn't destroy my worldview if there to be quantum computers. I'm just saying I don't know. And he says, we already are tapping into the secrets of DNA and biohacking, bro. And he says we can store information perhaps in DNA. That's getting weird, dude. He says, he says we need to come up with a cryptocurrency. He says he likes the idea of cryptocurrency being international and outside of nation states, but they got to figure out how to lock it all down, control all that. You see, he says blockchain and the Internet of Things will be the key, and he says that will help us get rid of all national regulations. You see, so that we can have an international Internet of Things and blockchain that is connected to everything. The commodification of all items and all of life, you see. Connected to the blockchain, connected to nanotech, nanosatellites, Internet of Things, connected to Skynet, connected to 5G. Are you noticing a pattern here of all things connected in the web? So by 2030, he says Internet of Things is the target goal. Internet of Things is the core infrastructure so that we can have 5G Doritos. Now, that was the taste, the dark taste of the dark arts that are coming. Just a little dark taste. Let me tell you what comes up in the second half, you nerds. The second half of this book is the real juice, the real meat. AI, bots, 3D printing, drones everywhere, biotech, nanotech, neurotech, augmented reality, virtual worlds. Bro, it's gonna be so sick when we got the web, dude, everywhere, and we can like dial in. Remember that? How to promote the revolution in the arts and culture. Cyberpunk, dude. Remember cyberpunk and all this nonsense? Cyborgs. He says culture is a big part of this. Storing and capturing energy, the transmission of energy. Spraying the skies. Spraying the skies. And then the control of the upper atmosphere. I thought that was a crazy conspiracy theory. Oh, it is if I talk about it, but not when the head of Davos talks about it. All right. That was the first half. If you would like the second half, and we'll read some more super. We got almost 600 nerds today. Whoa, dude. If you want the second half, you got to subscribe to Jay's Analysis, and that subscription link, my analysis plus all of the archives, is the membership link in the show description. We'll get to a couple more of these super chats here. Nano Nerd. No, we already did Nano Nerd. MK Okra. Got that fried MK Ultra. He says $5. All of us poor people get folk woke about the history of Mr. Eugene X, and I'm with black folk. Karen's shut down the Huey. Dude, I'm sorry, I don't understand that comment. You lost me. I appreciate the $5, but I am lost in that. That was just over my head. So you spit out some bars over my head, dude. By the way, also in the if you want to ask me some more super chats, I'll keep going. Right, I'll keep going. How can you contact me for a debate? You can't. All right. Unless your friend is famous and has 50,000 or more subscribers, I'm not interested in whoever you want me to debate. I don't debate people with 5 subscribers. When you see, dude, what's going on, right? There's a lot of reason for concern. There's social unrest. There is the new Tom Cruise out there coughing all over our vanilla sky, right? And we have probably food shortages. We saw this last time with the Koof Karanka. What if there's not a grocery, right? Like, what are you going to do? So these are realistic dangers. Don't let yourself be unprepared. I would say prepare with my Patriot Supply. That link is also there as our first sponsor for the show. My Patriot Supply, go to that Dyer link there, and you'll get a discount, $100 off of the 4-week supply for My Patriot Supply. It makes it easy to be prepared at all times. Save $100 off. And our boy over at chalk.com, remember that dude? Life Source on Instagram crackers, a good dude. This guy has supported Jay's analysis for a long time, and he's got that chalk.com that will give you your man juice back. A lot of men dried up. Not a lot of man juice being juiced up. They're dried up. But that chalk.com will get that man juice flowing again. Right? We don't want machines. You're already a bio machine. Right? And the machines are trying to make you have a 1/8 PP. But that chalk.com has a bunch of studies behind it. The link is also there. That's designed to juice up the man juice, to get the mojo man juice flowing again so that you can fight the machines, right? How are you going to fight the machines if you don't have any offspring baby creatures that you've made, right? The machines are going to take over. You're going to be making love to a machine girl and you don't even know. Cherry 2000, you'll look over there, she's shorting out. You thought you were with a woman this whole time and it was just an AI clone, bitch. Then what are you going to do? You can't have an offspring with her. That's why you got to get that chalk.com so that you can support Jay's analysis. And if you go there, you got to put in JAY. It's that easy. Chalk.com, JAY. JAY. Link in the show description to support my show. Now, I gave y'all some heat today. I gave you some hot stuff, some nice stuff. And you know, we got a large. This is probably my largest Jay solo crowd. And you know, we got some difficult questions that I couldn't answer. So if y'all want to throw me some of them super chats out here, breaking down these global elite books, feel free to. I'll hang out a little bit. If not, we'll call it a night, and we'll go do homework. Yeah, we'll go do some multiple choice tonight. We'll go rake leaves. We'll go stand in the sun until we sweat, just to do it. Any more super chats? Anybody want to hang out? Any requests? I know I'm your little circus monkey. When you throw me the money, I dance around like a monkey and I do my little voices for you. And you all love it. Do you want voices? As I whore myself out for money. I'm like an impersonation stripper. Like you make it rain, and I do my little monkey dance for you. I do what the monkeys that do that little like they turn that little thing. Am I the monkey or the Jack in the Box? I'll be both when you throw those super chats at my face. Make it rain, dude. All right, don't make it rain then. I'm still here. I don't even care. Everybody's lonely on a Saturday. There's no reason to be lonely. You're here with me, dude. Look at that. Somebody's making it rain. What do they want? More of that okra. He's that dude that writes them hieroglyphics super chats. I don't know what he's talking about. Mr. You got fried okra in the brain due to that MK Ultra, dude, because I can't understand your super chat. Sir Dyer, all of us who are not 0.0001 percenters must draw public attention to the history of eugenic targeting of the black. Yes, I know about that. I've talked about it go back to my Darwin talks from a decade ago, and I have talked about that. This will stifle the Bernays style tactic. Yes, I know. I mean, how many did everybody in our sphere, you know, of talking about the truth, the global has always talked about. I mean, I just did a Global Elites lecture series, and half of them talk about eugenics, right? So we've been opposing that for a long time. Bobby, $5. Are there Orthodox churches in San Diego that are? I don't know, man. I mean, I've never been to Orthodox church in San Diego. I went to that one OCA church that was in Carlsbad, St. Catherine. I think that's it. That was a good church, but I don't know about San Diego, man. I've never been to church in San Diego except a crazy Baptist church one time. So don't go there. Don't go to that crazy Baptist church. Anyway. If you want the second half, it'll be up in the next day or two. Subscribe at Jay's Analysis. Again, the link is there. The membership link for joining the website is there. And then Jamie and I still owe everyone the second half of the Apocalypse show. I know that. And by the way, we're going to throw in an extra one because I felt like we kind of did the best ones in the first half. So we threw in Thunderdome, which is a lot of fun. That Thunderdome analysis will be part of the second part as well. So Jamie's been busy in the last few weeks, and now she's got some freed up time. So that should be in the next day or two. And then in the next day or two, part 2 of Klaus will be up with all that crazy stuff. Palmer Elric, what's up? Longtime supporter. $10. Ha ha ha, dance monkey. Thank you for all the hard work. Is that what you want? You want me to dance to? How's that? A little dance with it. Ephraim for 333 sending these evil Masonic code dollars. What would Bill Cosby say? Now the Great Reset. No, wait. I'm messing up my Bill Cosby already. And the feeble... I can't do it. Dang it. Let me hear Bill. It's been so long since I've done Bill Cosby. My impersonation sucks. I do a better old, like 70s Bill Cosby than I do like a president of Bill Cosby. But by the way, there was a black dude that said that I had the best Bill Cosby one time on Twitter. Let me see. Bill Cosby in the 70s. All right, that Fat Albert period. All right, let me hear that Bill Cosby. And then I could probably do it. Let's see what he's saying. Come on now. Play.
Mighty fetish.
Come on.
Runs, yes, hot water, and bothers everybody in the world. Hot water. But even if you don't have hot water, the baby's going to come. Kaboom! Natural.
I'm sorry, dude. I failed at that. Now the Great Reset with the feeble fop and the zebra zap. Is that good enough? That's all you get for $3.33, dude. That's all I'm doing. Orthodox 83, $1. What technocrat book must we all read? Brave New World. I mean, you really can't top that one because it's everything, you know. That's all of it in one book. And that was 1932, and here we are in 2020, and it's all right here. All right. I think we're done today. Thank you guys very much. Be sure and like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And looking forward to... And by the way, Snack and I are going to have a stream soon, too. We're going to be talking about iconoclasm. We're going to do an iconoclasm stream. That'll be fun. With your boy Snack. And then, yeah. Thanks, guys. A lot of fun. God bless. Everybody have a good weekend.